Hello everyone and welcome to TypeScript Fundamentals, where you're going to learn how to use TypeScript to bring your JavaScript development to the next level. You would agree that your code can easily become really messy. As developers, we of course want our code to be maintainable and easily extendable. That's why TypeScript can become an essential tool in our JavaScript tool belt. What is TypeScript? TypeScript is a typed superset of JavaScript that compiles to plain JavaScript. JavaScript is dynamically typed language, and of course it brings both good and bad. We know that variables can hold any type of object during the runtime of our program, which means that types are determined on the fly. Sometimes we enjoy implicit type coercion when comparing string to a number, but another side to a coin is that it becomes really difficult to ensure that proper types are passed without extensive number of tests. For enterprise-scale applications, which can have thousands or tens of thousands lines of code, it becomes really hard to maintain such a project, taking into consideration that multiple contributors are involved. Before jumping into TypeScript details, let's make sure that we have everything that is necessary to work with TypeScript. So the main part will be Node.js installation, which you can download for your specific platform from nodejs.org. Another thing will be Yarn, which is new dependency management system. Don't be scared by this new tool. It is based on Npm, which means our workflow will not be very different. My editor of choice is Visual Studio Code. The interesting part is that the actual editor is written in TypeScript. And of course, it has a great support for this language. Let's make sure that we have everything that is necessary in order to start working with TypeScript. First of all, we will check if we have Node installed on our machine. In terminal, please type node-v to see the current version. If you are having problems with this step, please go back to nodejs.org in order to install a version of Node.js for your platform. From here now on, we can use npm, which is Node Package Manager, for installation of modules on our machine. So we will install Yarn, which is going to be our global modules. We're gonna have to use a sudo command here. So sudo npm install -g for global yarn. From here, we are going to use Yarn in order to install packages. And the reason for that is it is the latest package manager, and it's definitely is optional, but I just want to introduce you to the latest and greatest in JavaScript world. So we will do yarn global add TypeScript. It was pretty fast, less than a second. I will tell you the truth that it is such a little time because I have installed no TypeScript before, and the benefit of Yarn is that it caches modules, so you don't have to download the whole thing again. So that's why it is much faster than npm. Let's see what is the version of our TypeScript compiler that we just installed. So we will type TypeScript compiler tsc.v to see the version of our TypeScript, which is 2.2.2. I will use Visual Studio Code for this course, and let's see if we can create our first TypeScript file. So I open this brand new project and we will create main.ts. And we can see right away that Visual Studio Code recognizes this file as a TypeScript. So let's try typing something. We will do var a, which is equals abc, and right now it looks very much like just any regular JavaScript, but if we hover over the variable name, we can see this var a semicolon string, which is showing us the type of this variable. So what we are going to do now, we will create a couple more files to see how easy it is to navigate TypeScript project with Visual Studio support. So our first file will have name 1.ts, and second one, as you would guess, will have name 2.ts. Second file will export very simple class named animal, and all this class has is property lags, which is number. Okay, it's enough for this file. And in file 1, we will import class that we have just created, named animal. So of course we are importing from file 2. Yeah, it's better to put this / here. So now we're gonna use this class that we have just imported. So we'll create another class, which is dog, which extends animal. And dog, of course, has to have a name, which is a string. Okay, cool. We will come back to class syntax a little later to see in details which benefits it's bringing to us. But right now we will see how we can navigate a TypeScript project. So as we remember, we just imported the animal class from another file, and when we hover over this import statement while pressing the command key, we can see the actual definition of the class. So it's like the quick way to see what the actual class that we are importing in is. If you want to navigate to the file where this class is defined, we can, while holding the command key, just click the imported class name and we will get into the file. Even when the file is closed, we can still do the same thing and it will open a file for us. Cool. Yeah, this is really nice, especially when we are dealing with the really big projects. Of course, 2-file project is not the real world one, but if we have a project with hundreds of files, it is very handy to have this way to see the definition of the stuff that we are importing in. We have even more options. We can pick a definition so we don't switch the context of the file that we are in. So we will see just this additional block that pops in, where we can see the definition of the class and we can close it back when we don't need it. Another benefit is that we can easily refactor our code. Let's say we don't like the name of the class animal, so we can change it to something different. Of course, we can do the global search and replace all animal instances. Can find them and do the global replace. But let's imagine we have other places where we used exact same name, say in comments or in other pieces of our code, which we don't want to replace. Then it becomes a manual task to go and replace everything. Let's say you want to replace animal with pet. So we would go everywhere and we will replace it. Right now we're getting those complaints here because we cannot import the pet class because it does not exist yet. So we have to change the name all over the place. which is okay if it's 2 files, but let's see how we can do that more efficiently. So in order to refactor some code in TypeScript, we can use rename symbol functionality. So we will rename it here, and we will just press the return key. And what we see, both files were changed. If we go in here, we can see that animal class was just renamed to pet, which is really cool again for the big projects. Let's summarize what we have learned during this session. We proved the fact that JavaScript has types. We also installed our TypeScript compiler. We have seen some TypeScript syntax and how easy it is to navigate and refactor our TypeScript project. See you soon in the next video.